हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। आज मैं अपने यूपीपीएससी असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर मेंस एग्जाम्स मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस की सीरीज़ में ट्रांसलेशन स्टडीज़ के 5 मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ऑथर्स के क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस करेंगे एंड रेस्ट के जो 6 ऑथर्स हैं यूनिट 10 में, उनको हम नेक्स्ट सीरीज़ में डिस्कस करेंगे उनके क्वेश्चंस। सो शुरू करते हैं एंड प्लीज़ मेरे चैनल को लाइक और सब्सक्राइब करना, क्योंकि मेरे इस क्वेश्चन सीरीज़ को मैं एग्ज़ाम्स तक 17 सितंबर में जो एग्ज़ाम है यूपीएससी की, तब तक मैं इसमें सारे क्वेश्चन, सारे ऑथर्स के मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस को डिस्कस करूँगी। सो शुरू करते हैं। आज हम बात करेंगे एंड्री लेफेवरेज ट्रांसलेटिंग लिटरेचर्स, हरीश त्रिवेदी इंडिया इंग्लैंड फ्रांस अ पोस्ट colonial ट्रांसलेशन, डैनियल सेमिनी द इमर्जेंस ऑफ अ conceptual relationships, Walter Benjamin the task of translation and Saadat Hasan Manto Toba take Singh। तो शुरू करते हैं पहले क्वेश्चन से। Discuss André Lefevere's concept of translation as rewriting in translating literature. How do ideology and poetics influence translation? और आज मैंने छोटे आंसर्स भी दिए हैं, शॉर्ट आंसर्स, ताकि आप इसके बेसिस पे अपने क्वेश्चंस को फ्रेम कर सको। And the answer is Lefevere sees translation as a form of rewriting rather than simple word-for-word reproduction. A translator recreates the text according to the conventions of the target culture. Ideology influences what is selected, emphasized, or altered, while poetics influences literary style, genre, and aesthetic conventions. तो इस क्वेश्चन में लेफेवरेज के मेन आइडियाज़ क्या हैं? He says translation is not simply a word-to-word transfer. It is rewriting of the original text. When a translator translates a text, the translation is influenced by the culture, ideology, and literary system of the target society. So translation is never completely neutral. अब हम इसके कुछ की पॉइंट्स के बारे में बात करेंगे, जैसे आइडियोलॉजी मीन्स पॉलिटिकल, सोशल एंड कल्चरल बिलीव्स दैट इन्फ्लुएंस ट्रांसलेशन। फिर हम बात करेंगे पोइटिक्स मीन्स literary conventions, styles and genres preferred by a society. Then patronage means publishers, institutions or powerful groups that support or influence literature. And last, rewriting. The translator reshapes the original according to the target culture. तो लेफेवरेज के मेन कॉन्सेप्ट के बारे में हम बात करेंगे, तो उनका मेन कॉन्सेप्ट हो जाएगा ट्रांसलेशन एज रीराइटिंग, आइडियोलॉजी, पोइटिक्स एंड पैट्रोनेज। आई होप आपको ये क्वेश्चन अच्छे से समझ में आया। सेकेंड क्वेश्चन, एक्सप्लेन हरीश त्रिवेदीज इंडिया इंग्लैंड फ्रांस अ पोस्ट colonial ट्रांसलेशन ट्रायड, हाउ आर ट्रांसलेशन, colonialism and cultural power connected? And the answer is Trivedi examines translation through the historical relationship between India, England and France. Translation is connected with colonial and post-colonial power relations because literary and cultural texts often move between unequal linguistic and political systems. Translation can reproduce colonial representations but can also challenge and reinterpret them. इसमें त्रिवेदी की मेन कंसर्न क्या थे इस क्वेश्चन में? वो बात करते हैं ही स्टडीज ट्रांसलेशन थ्रू द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन इंडिया, इंग्लैंड एंड फ्रांस, especially in the context of colonialism. During colonial rule, translation would be used to understand and represent Indian culture, but it would also become a means of cultural control. At the same time, post-colonial translation can challenge this power and become a form of cultural negotiation. And the key points are colonial translation, translation connected with colonial knowledge and representation. Cultural power, dominant cultures can control how another culture is represented. Post-colonial translation can challenge colonial representations. And cultural negotiation, translation creates interaction between cultures. तो त्रिवेदी के मेन कॉन्सेप्ट क्या थे? ट्रांसलेशन, colonialism and cultural power. I hope you understand this question. Next question. Discuss Daniel Semini's concept of the translator's habitus in translation and society. How does society influence translation practice? And the answer is Semini connects translations with social structures and professional practice. The translator's habitus consists of socially acquired dispositions, tendencies, and professional behaviors that influence translation decisions. Thus, translation is shaped not only by language but also by society, institutions and cultural expectations. अब इस थर्ड क्वेश्चन में सिमेनीज के आइडियाज़ क्या थे? He applies the sociological concept of habitus to translators. Habitus means the habits, attitudes and ways of thinking that a person develops through society and professional experience. So, translators do not make choices in isolation. Their education, training, social background and literary institutions influence the way they translate. And the key points are: habitus means socially developed habits and attitudes. Social conditioning means society influences translators' choices. Profession norms means translators learn what is considered a good translation. And subservient habitus. Translators often see themselves as serving the author or literary system. Okay? तो सिमेनीज के कॉन्सेप्ट में हम याद रखेंगे ट्रांसलेटर, सोसाइटी एंड हैबिटस. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड द टर्म हैबिटस. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Discuss Walter Benjamin's ideas in the task of the translator with a special reference to this relationship between the original and its translation. And the answer is, Benjamin does not regard translation as a simple reproduction of the original. Translation has its own purpose and contributes to the continued life or afterlife, the original. It also reveals the relationship or kinship between different languages. अब Walter Benjamin's के ideas क्या थे? He does not consider translation a simple copy of the original, but according to him, a translation gives the original text an afterlife. The original continues to live in another language and culture through translation. Therefore, translation has its own value and not simply an inferior version of the original. And the key concepts means afterlife means the translation allows the original to continue in another language. Original and translation means they are connected but not identical. Creative act. Translation is more than mechanical reproduction. Language. Translation reveals relationships between different languages. तो बेंजामिन का क्या मेन कॉन्सेप्ट था कि ट्रांसलेशन गिव्स द ओरिजिनल एंड आफ्टर लाइफ. तो ये आफ्टर लाइफ कीवर्ड को याद रखना, ये आपको आंसर फ्रेम करने में काफ़ी हेल्प करेगा. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. व्हाट डज वॉल्टर बेंजामिन मीन बाय प्योर लैंग्वेज इन द टास्क ऑफ द ट्रांसलेटर? एंड द आंसर इज, pure language refers to the deeper linguistic relationships that become visible when different languages interact through translation. No single language completely possesses pure language. Translation helps reveal the underlying kinship among languages. अब प्योर लैंग्वेज क्या है? प्योर लैंग्वेज का मेन आइडिया है, बेंजामिन बिलीव्स दैट नो सिंगल लैंग्वेज कैन एक्सप्रेस कंप्लीट मीनिंग. एवरी लैंग्वेज एक्सप्रेसेस ओनली सर्टन एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ मीनिंग. Translation brings different languages together and helps reveal their deeper relationship. This ideal linguistic unity is what Benjamin calls pure language. अब key points क्या हैं? Pure language, an ideal unity underlying different languages. Different languages each express meaning in its own way. Translation brings languages into relationships, and no exact equivalence. Means translation is not simply finding identical words. तो प्योर लैंग्वेज के कॉन्सेप्ट में हम क्या याद रखेंगे? द डीपर यूनिटी और किनशिप बिटवीन डिफरेंट लैंग्वेजेस. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. डिस्कस सादत हसन मंटो's Toba takes Singh as a critic of partition, nationalism and displacement. And the answer is, Toba takes Singh uses satire, irony and absurdity to portray the human tragedy of partition. The division of the asylum inmates reflects the absurdity of political borders. Hasan Singh represents the problems of displacement, divided identity and loss of belonging. मंटो का क्या मेन पॉइंट क्या था? Toba takes Singh presents the absurdity and tragedy of partition through the inmates of a mental asylum. The characters are suddenly divided according to India and Pakistan, but they cannot understand these new political identities. Bhushan Singh's attachment to Toba Tek Singh shows that home and identity are emotional and cultural, not simply political. And the key points: partition means political division creates human tragedy. Nationalism, rigid national identities are shown as absurd. Displacement, people lose their homes and sense of belonging. And no man's land represents Bhushan Singh's identity crisis and rootlessness. तो आप ये की टर्म्स पार्टीशन, नेशनलिज्म, डिस्प्लेसमेंट एंड नो मैंस लैंड को याद रखें. तो मंटो के फ्रेम में हम क्या याद रखेंगे? पार्टीशन, नेशनलिज्म, डिस्प्लेसमेंट एंड आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, हाउ डज टोबा टेक सिंह बिकम रेलेवेंट टू ट्रांसलेशन स्टडीज? Answer is, when Toba Tek Singh is translated, Manto's idea about partition, identity and displacement move across linguistic and cultural boundaries. The text therefore raises questions about cultural representation, historical memory and the translator's role in communicating experiences to a new readership. अब टोबा टेक सिंह ट्रांसलेशन के लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट क्यों है? Because the story is deeply connected with language, culture and identity. Manto uses Urdu, Punjabi, cultural references, irony, and Bhushan Singh's unusual language. When the story is translated, the translator has to transfer not only words but also the cultural and emotional meaning. The key points of this question are cultural translation, linguistic hybridity, and untranslatability. Cultural translation means transferring cultural meanings between languages. Linguistic hybridity means mixture and distortion of languages. And untranslatability means some cultural expressions cannot be perfectly reproduced. And the translator's roles are mediator between source and target cultures. So the next question, compare André Lefevere's concept of translation as rewriting with Walter Benjamin's ideas in the task of the translator. And the answer is, both thinkers reject the idea that translation is merely mechanical reproduction. Lefevere emphasizes rewriting, ideology, and poetics, while Benjamin focuses on the relationship between languages, pure language, and the afterlife of the original. Lefevere approaches translation mainly through cultural and ideological systems, whereas Benjamin approaches it philosophically and linguistically. इस क्वेश्चन में लेफेवरे के कॉन्सेप्ट ट्रांसलेशन एज रीराइटिंग एंड वॉल्टर बेंजामिन के कॉन्सेप्ट के बारे में हम बात करेंगे. दोनों थिंकर्स ट्रांसलेशन को सिंपल कॉपी नहीं मानते थे, बट देयर फोकस इज डिफरेंट. लेफेवरे इज मेनली कंसर्न्ड विद सोसाइटी, आइडियोलॉजी एंड पावर. ही कॉल्स ट्रांसलेशंस अ रीराइटिंग. On the other hand, Benjamin focuses on language and philosophy. He sees translation as giving the original an afterlife and bringing different languages closer to the idea of pure language. And the key points of discussions are Lefevere's rewriting, Benjamin afterlife. Lefevere, ideology, poetics and patronage. On the other hand, Benjamin talks about pure language and relationship between languages. Next question. How can Lefevere's theories of rewriting be applied to Manto's Toba Tek Singh? And the answer is, Lefevere's theory suggests that when Toba Tek Singh is translated, the translator does not simply transfers Manto's words. The translator rewrites the text for new linguistic and cultural audience. Issues such as partition, madness, borders, and identity may acquire new meanings depending on the target culture. इस क्वेश्चन में लेफेवरे की थ्योरी को मंटो पर अप्लाई करें तो टोबा टेक सिंह का ट्रांसलेशन एक रीराइटिंग बन जाता है. ओके, translator has to decide how to represent Manto's irony, partition, Urdu culture and Bhushan Singh's strange language for a new audience. These choices can change how readers understand the story. And the key points: ideology, poetics, cultural references and target audience. Ideology influences the presentation of partition. Poetics influences how Manto's irony and satire are reproduced. Cultural references may need explanation or adaptation, and target audience influences translation's choices. 10th question. How can Harish Trivedi's colonial translation theory be connected with Walter Benjamin's The Task of the Translator? And the answer is Trivedi focuses on the political and historical dimension of translation, particularly colonial relationships between India, England, and France. Benjamin focuses on the philosophical and linguistic dimensions of translation. Together, they show that translation involves both power and politics as well as language and cultural relationships. त्रिवेदी एंड बेंजामिन दोनों ट्रांसलेशन को सिंपल लिंग्विस्टिक ट्रांसफर नहीं मानते थे, बट देयर पर्सपेक्टिव्स आर डिफरेंट. Benjamin looks at the philosophical relationship between languages, while Trivedi looks at translation in the context of colonialism and cultural power. So, Benjamin helps us understand the linguistic side, while Trivedi adds the historical and political dimension. And the key points of these questions are Benjamin, language and pure language; Trivedi, colonial and post-colonial relationships. Benjamin focuses on translation gives the original and afterlife, and Trivedi focuses on translation can reproduce or challenge cultural power. Question number 11. Translation is not merely a linguistic activity but also a social, cultural and ideological practice. Discuss with reference to Lefevere, Trivedi and Simeoni. And the answer is the three thinkers approach translation from different but connected perspectives. Lefevere emphasizes ideology and rewriting. Trivedi examines colonial and post-colonial power relations, and Simeoni connects translations with society and the translator's habitus. Together they demonstrate that translation is deeply influenced by culture, society, ideology and power. इस क्वेश्चंस में हम बात करेंगे that translation is not merely a linguistic activity because translators works within society. Lefevere shows that ideology, poetics and patronage influence translation. Trivedi connects translation with colonialism and cultural power, while Simeoni shows that the translator's habitus is socially developed, so translation is shaped by society, culture, institutions and power. And the key points of these questions are Lefevere focuses on ideology, poetics and patronage. Trivedi focuses on colonialism, cultural power, and Simeoni focuses on habitus and social conditioning. Overall, translation is not neutral. Next question and the last questions of this session. Discuss the relationship between translation, identity and cultural displacement with reference to Benjamin's theory and Manto's Toba taxing. And the answer is Benjamin views translation as a meeting point between languages that reveal their deeper relationship. Manto's Toba Singh deals with people who are disrupted by partition and forced geographical divisions. Together they show how language, translation, identity and displacement are connected to questions of belonging and cultural memory. And the answer is this question connects Benjamin's linguistic theory with Manto's partition story. Benjamin sees translation as movement between languages, while Manto shows forced movement between nations and cultures. Bhushan Singh's identity crisis shows that political borders cannot simply change a person's memory, culture and sense of belonging. And the key points of these questions are Benjamin, movement between languages; Manto, displacement between nations; and the identity connected with language, memory and home; and cultural displacement, loss of belonging caused by forced separation. So, इस 5 ऑथर्स की की पॉइंट्स मैं आपको बता देती हूँ. लेफेवरे के कंटेक्स्ट में आप याद रखोगे, ये बात करते हैं री राइटिंग के बारे में. त्रिवेदी के ट्रांसलेशन के थियरी में बात करोगे आप कॉलोनियल पावर के बारे में. सिमेनीज के ट्रांसलेशन थ्योरीज के बारे में बात करेंगे तो हम बात करेंगे हैबिटस के बारे में. उसी तरह बेंजामिन के थ्योरीज के बारे में अगर हम बात करेंगे तो आफ्टर लाइफ एंड प्योर लैंग्वेज के बारे में. एंड मंटोज के बारे में अगर हम बात करेंगे तो पार्टीशन एंड डिस्प्लेसमेंट के बारे में. तो ये 5 कीवर्ड्स आप याद रखोगे तो आपको आंसर फ्रेम करने में काफ़ी हेल्प मिलेगी. सो आज की सीरीज़ में बस इतना ही, और प्लीज़ आप इस 12th क्वेश्चन को अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस कर लेना. और हम अपने नेक्स्ट सेशन में बाकी के 6 ऑथर को डिस्कस करेंगे और हमारे ट्रांसलेशन स्टडीज़ के क्वेश्चंस कवर हो जाएंगे. इससे बाहर आप कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ना है. अगर आप इतना पढ़ लोगे तो आप कोई भी क्वेश्चन आंसर कर सकते हो. सो आज के लिए बस इतना ही. एंड प्लीज़ मेरे क्वेश्चंस अगर आपको अच्छे लगें तो प्लीज़ लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल. एंड थैंक यू सो मच एंड टेक केयर.